Hello everyone, today we'll be discussing about colorants, flavors and sweeteners. So, the primary use of colorants in pharmaceutical industry is they are employed to distinguish the off-color drugs. They are also used for product identification and finally they are employed to increase the elegance of the product. So the major functions of colorants are to distinguish off-color drugs, product identification and to enhance the elegance of a product. So coming to the various colorants that are available, coming to the natural vegetable colors, their availability is often limited because of their instability. And the majorly used colorants in pharmaceutical industry are dyes or lakes of dyes. Lakes are nothing but dyes that have been absorbed on a hydrous oxide. So lakes also come under dyes. They are dyes that have been absorbed on the hydrous oxide. They are mainly employed as dry powders. When it comes to dyes, they are mainly employed as solutions in the granulating agents. So the various categories are FDNC and DNC dyes. FDNC is nothing but food, drug and cosmetic. That particular colorant can be used in food, drug or cosmetic preparation. And DNC dyes. So DNC dyes are nothing but that particular colorant is used only in the production of drugs and cosmetics. Coming to the colorants in coating, tablet coating. To achieve proper distribution of suspended colorants in the coating solution, fine powdered colorants are required. This is an important point. In case of coating solution, the size of colorants must be less than 10 microns. And similarly, the repetitive production of colored coating solutions from different lots of the same colorants can be troublesome if the colorant lots have different dye content, crystalline form of the dye and particle size distribution. So these 3 points must be taken into consideration whenever different lots of the same colorants are improved to aid uniform production of colored coating solutions. In general, the suspended colorants must be milled in the coating solvent or solution to attain a uniform dispersion of colorants. So milling process is essential for getting uniform dispersion of colorants. Now coming to lakes. Lakes are derived from the dyes that are precipitated with carriers. Lakes are derived from the dyes by precipitating with carriers. Example are alumina or talc. The lakes are the colorants of choice for sugar or film coating systems. As they are more reproducible, tablet colors may be attainable. This is also important point. When you compare dyes and lakes, lakes are the preferred colorants or colorants of choice in case of sugar coating or film coating, as more reproducible tablet colors are attainable. Coming to the content of the pure dye in lakes. Most commercially available lakes contain 10 to 30% of pure dye content. The usual range is 10 to 30%, but a maximum of 50% of dye can be available. So, the concentration or content of pure dye in the lake is 10 to 30% in general, but some lakes approach up to 50%. Coming to the demerits, since lakes use solvent systems to dissolve the dye, a time and temperature dependent leaching of the dye from the lake systems might be seen. In such cases, use of pure dye is recommended. So the concentration of colorants in the coating solution depends on the color or shade desired, type of the dye and concentration of opaquant extenders. So whenever the lighter shade is required, a concentration of 0.01% of dye is sufficient. Whenever a darker shade is required, greater than 2% of the concentration is required. And when you compare between dyes and lakes, since lakes contain less colorant, a large concentration in solutions is generally required. Coming to the various colorants that are employed in the coating solutions, they are inorganic materials. Example is iron oxides. Natural colorants such as anthocyanins, caramel, carotenoids, chlorophyll, indigo, flavones, turmeric and carbonic acid. And recently new line of colorants are also available. They are biologically non-absorbable colorants. These colorants are not absorbed by humans. They are prepared by attaching the dyes to polymers that are too large to be absorbed by the GIT. At the same time, they show resistance to degradation in the GIT. The polymers are too large to be absorbed. At the same time, they have a resistance to degradation. Example, the first example of such kind of dye is magenta red dye. Now, examples of commercially available products that permit the preparation of coating solutions without additional milling equipments. As we have discussed previously, for proper dispersion of the suspended dye in solutions, they must be milled. Nowadays, some commercially available products are there which permit the preparation of coating solutions without additional milling. They are Opalex. This is opaquant color concentration for sugar coating, and Opaspray. These are opaque colorant concentration for film coating, and Opadry. This is a complete film coating concentrate. One more additional advantage of these products is they achieve less lot to lot variation. They don't require additional milling equipment, and also they achieve less lot to lot variation. These brand names are very important. So coming to the problems the colorants face. In case of wet granulation process, care must be taken to prevent color migration during drying. So whenever the wet granular masses are dried and when we employ a colorant, a color migration might be seen during drying. This migration of color during drying is called as mottling. So care must be taken to prevent mottling. The next one is the color change when they are exposed to light. In any colored tablet, the formulation should be checked for resistance to color change on exposure to light. For that case, various artificial light sources are available that simulate the UV spectrum of sunlight. In order to quantify the evaluation of colorants, various methods are employed such as reflectance spectrophotometer, tri-stimulus colorimetric measurements, and also micro-reflectance photometer. Micro-reflectance photometer is primarily used to check the color uniformity and gloss on the tablet. Now coming to the next category, flavors. Flavors are usually limited to chewable tablets or other tablets that are intended to be dissolved in the mouth. They are in general water soluble and also have less acceptance owing to their instability. Because they are water soluble, they are unstable, and for that reason they are less employed. Coming to the flavors, they are water soluble flavors, types of flavors, water soluble flavors, flavor oils, and dry flavors. So flavors can be incorporated in a granulating mixture either in solvents, either they are dissolved in solvents, or they are dispersed on clays and other absorbents, or they are emulsified in aqueous granulating agents. And one more important point is the maximum amount of oil that can be added to granulation without influencing its tableting characteristics is 0.5 to 0.75%. Coming to sweeteners, the next category is sweeteners. The use of sweeteners is primarily limited to chewable tablets to exclude or limit the use of sugar in the tablets. The various sweeteners are mannitol, saccharin and aspartame. Coming to mannitol, it is 72% as sweet as sucrose. The next one is saccharin. It is 500 times sweeter than sucrose. Saccharin is 500 times sweeter than sucrose, but it has got a disadvantage or demerit of bitter aftertaste and it is carcinogenic. And nowadays aspartame has widely replaced saccharin because it does not show any bitter aftertaste and it is not carcinogenic. But it has got its own demerits, that is lack of stability in the presence of moisture. Lack of stability in the presence of moisture. So whenever aspartame is employed as sweetener, care must be taken to prevent the moisture exposure, and also the formulation must be checked for its degradation in the presence of moisture. By this, we complete the colorants, flavors and sweeteners. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for further videos on GPAT.